Y'all, today I want to talk to you about something that I hold very near and dear to my heart, and that is Canva. So Canva is a design software that is such a beginner-friendly software that I truly love. And if you are not using Canva on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis, I fear you're missing out, and I don't want you to be missing out because I think Canva can not only help you level up your crafting, but it can also help you level up your life. Take it from someone who uses Canva on a daily basis, and I never even thought that I would. I use it for so many different things and not just crafting and design. I like using it to spice up things that I'm having to do for my son or having to do for work. It really is a design software that has helped me level up in my life, and I want to make sure you all level up as well. So if you're ready to do a really good beginner's guide into Canva, let's go ahead and head into the studio so that I can show you where you can find certain features and everything you need to know about Canva. Going to our homepage, let's quickly go over what we see here. You can see that we have what I like to call, this is like a quick menu, meaning you can select any of these and quickly create a document whatever size you want. Up here, you can search your designs. So naming your designs are going to be very important when it comes to Canva, especially if you are using it a lot. Canva is going to, for the most part, untitled document, your paragraph text. You can see here I've created one. It's going to just pick up on the first names, the first few words if you don't rename the document yourself. So I suggest to name your documents what you would think you would search for. That way you can search all of your designs, folders, and uploads from here. You can also browse templates from this portion. You can see lots of different templates that are available depending on what you are wanting to create. If you don't know what you want to create, you can just come here and browse these templates and go from there and kind of get some really good inspiration. And then also up here, you have Canva AI. But I want to go over this left-hand menu first before we jump into an actual design. So first thing, over here, you do have your home button. That's if you go off somewhere else and you want to go back home, you can quickly come over here and select home. Next, you have your projects. If you want to search your projects, you can search folders, designs, so many different things, but here's where everything is going to live. Next is just another place for you to browse templates. You can browse by the magic suggestion. You can browse by business templates. You can see here social media templates and so on and so forth. Next up on this left-hand menu is going to be your brand kit. Now this is going to be specific for Canva Pro users. So if you have your own brand and you want to create graphics and things for your company or your brand, I highly suggest just going ahead and going with Canva Pro because it does make designing things and making sure things are cohesive so much easier. This is a pro feature, but you can create your very own brand kit and voice here within Canva. Next up, you do have Canva AI. Same thing as with your home screen, you can find it there or you can find it here. And then last over here is going to be the apps. Now, I'm not going to spend time talking about the apps because I could make a full 2-hour video just talking about apps within Canva, and we're just beginner kind of scratching the surface here. My suggestion is definitely going to be, if you want to learn more about the apps, go in, play around with it, test it yourself. I truly believe in the term learn by doing, and you're going to learn so much when you're playing around with some of these apps. Now they do have them somewhat categorized for you. They have trending apps here, AI generation, audio and voiceover, communication, graphic design. So you all know I live mainly in these graphic design apps for the most part. Some of these I personally don't utilize because that's not what we need for our brand or our company, but depending on what you do, it may be a lifesaver for you. So my suggestion is just going in there, playing around with it, and really getting familiar with everything, all of the apps within Canva. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly create a design, and we're just going to choose a template and go from there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to create, and I want to do an invitation. So I'm going to make it 5 by 7. And you can see here that when I type in 5 by 7, it has invitation already there. Now, you don't have to choose invitation. You can just create new design. But if you know you're wanting to create an invitation, choosing this is going to really tailor the templates that you're going to see on the next screen. So I'm just going to click invitation. And you can see here when it pulls up that I have all of these different invitation types or templates that I can choose from. Now, that doesn't mean that you are going to create an invitation that looks just like this. I love using this as a starting point for where I want to get to. And sometimes I like multiple elements in different invitations, and I want to combine it all together. So how you can easily do that, choose one that you like this. And then we're going to go down here to add a page. I'm going to come back up here to design and look at these templates. And let's say maybe I like the border of this one. So you can see that you can add different templates to the same document, and you can kind of mix and match these elements. So these are all separate elements, but let's say I liked this font and this font, and I wanted to choose which one. I can kind of create similar invitations and then go with the one that really suits me at the end. So now that we have our template in here, we're not going to go into a lot of detail as far as designing. I just want to show you where everything lives so that you kind of have an idea. So all of these little graphics in here are what we like to call elements. And if you are starting, let's say, from a blank page and you want to create something with elements, you're going to come over here to the left-hand side and you're going to click on elements. Now, if you've brought in a template, you can see down here that there are graphics that look very similar to what we have up here, and you can come down here to see all and go to magic recommendations, which is one of my favorite design tips to find elements that are cohesive to the template that I like. Magic recommendation really saves me a lot. But let's say we're looking for something specific, and I'm just gonna type in martini glass, and you can see we have lots of them here. So we can add that element if we wanted to go from there. But what I love is down here, if I've chosen an element, Magic Recommendations shows me other elements that are very similar or have the same style. So now you can see these are all in more of like the watercolor style versus the illustrative style. So that is a little design trick that really helps me when I am creating things, is using that magic recommendation and just hitting that see all and browsing through everything there until I find what I want, add it to my design, and then if I need to add more, Magic Recommendations is going to come up with some more recommendations for me. You can see here, we'll add that, boom, more Magic Recommendations based on what I just chose. So going back to elements, you can see that within your elements, you do have your recently used, you have your basic shapes, you have graphics here, and then you also have photos. So let's say we wanted to, we'll go back up here and we'll do martini glass again. We'll search that. You can see graphics. The difference between graphics and photos is the fact that photos are going to be actual photos of things, not just hand-drawn illustrative things. It's going to be actual photos. So sometimes, depending on what you're creating, that may be exactly what you're going for, and sometimes it may not be. But don't overlook photos, because sometimes there are some really cool ones in there. Like I said, for example, this one that's actually a little bit transparent, I kind of like it when we start taking all of these others off. You can see that I think it could be very, very cute in that. Same thing with this. This is a martini glass that you can see all the way through. I can see in my head a really, really cool design with this. So don't overlook photos, but that's going to be the difference between photos and graphics. Next up is going to be videos of what you searched, frames as well, and then coming down here you have audio and mock-ups. So all of those are going to live under the Elements tab on the left-hand side. Next up is going to be the text. Now you can quickly add text by adding a text box here. You can add a heading. You can come down here to the apps and it can show you different text apps that are available for you to use. And you have font combinations on down here. Now this is really gonna help if you have reached a place where you're like, I don't know what I want, I'm not sure. You can come down here and look at these font combinations to kind of get some inspiration. I do like doing that quite a bit, so don't overlook that. But one of my favorite shortcut keys when it comes to Canva, which there are a lot of shortcut keys, but my absolute favorite shortcut key to use with Canva is going to be quickly adding a text box. And all you have to do is click on the page that you are fixing to start working on and hit the letter T on your keyboard. That's going to quickly bring in a text box. And I just think it has really helped me streamline the process when it comes to designing and quickly utilizing different aspects or different elements within Canva. So after text, you do have your brand kit, which we talked about. All of that is going to also live here on the left-hand menu. Once again, that is just a pro feature. Next is going to be your uploads, where you can upload your images that you have into Canva. Now, one of my favorite things about the upload section is you can drag and drop pretty much any element from your Finder. So I'll bring my Finder in here. I will grab this element here, and all I have to do is drag and drop. And even though I'm on the Elements page, you can see this upload section filling up. I can pop over here to Uploads, and there is the design that I just uploaded from my computer. So I do love that feature of the uploads, but this is where you're going to find all of your uploads. You can also upload videos and audio within Canva and utilize those in your documents. And you can search your images by keywords. Next up is going to be the tools section. This is kind of just going to be like a quick grab area where you can quickly draw, you can quickly add shapes, lines, sticky notes, text, and tables. Next up is going to be your projects. You can search those while you are designing. You do not just have to be on the home page. You can search your projects while you are designing. You can do that a couple different ways. You can do that by scrolling. You can search your content here. You can search content that is shared with you, all projects, or just your projects that you have created. And then finally, on the left-hand menu is going to be where your apps live. Now, I know we talked about this earlier. Apps is a whole section that I can make its very own video about. Just know, get in there, play around with it, and I think you're going to learn the best when you just get in there and play around with all of those different apps. Okay, y'all, brief interruption of the Canva tour. If this is something, if you're like, oh my gosh, Lauren, this is so much information, I'm a little bit overwhelmed, let me introduce you to something that I think you need if you really want to do a true deep dive into Canva, and that's Canva Confident. Now, we have this linked for you down below. It's going to be that first link. It's going to really teach you everything you need to know about Canva and then some. So if this is like, OMG, I already want to know more, make sure you click that link down below. Now, let's get back to our invitation, and I want to show you a couple more little places that you probably need to know about when it comes to Canva. And we're going to start up here on the top. So first place we have is File. This is going to be where you can download things, you can make a copy, you can look at version history, which is a pro feature. You can change your settings, accessibility. You can rename your design here from File. You can also rename your design here, invitation, and so on. Now, remember I talked about the magic resize? This is where this is going to live. Let's say you know, oh, I've created a 5x7, but I don't need it to be a 5x7. I want it to be 8x10 or whatever. You can quickly resize your documents if you do have Canva Pro from this section here. You can search your resize options, or you can come down here and create a custom size, whatever you want. Next is going to be editing. This is just where you are in editing mode. You can change it to commenting mode, meaning nobody can edit anything right now. You can click on it, only people can comment, and then viewing mode where people can view it only and not say anything. So we're gonna go back to editing mode. Here's your undo, redo buttons. This is your automatic save. This is just telling you that everything has been automatically saved. This is the title of your document. This is who has access to your document. Here you can see it is just us. If you are sharing this document, you can look at the analytics here. You can make comments by clicking on this and add a comment there. And then we'll talk about the share button later on. Now let's talk about our editing options here on the top, depending on what you have. So starting out with just your document here, we'll choose this one because this is actually an element and I can tell that it is an element. First of all, when I zoom in, I can kind of see the texture. Otherwise, you would think it was but it is an element. But we're gonna come down here to this one and you can see I have my background color here that you can change. Animate, we will talk about later, and same with position. So let's go back up here and click on this element. Once you click on an element, you can see that there are lots of different options. First up is going to be your edit function. Now, when you are in editing, you can adjust things. For example, if we have a photo, let's go over here to our uploads. We'll put beautiful Sadie here on the page just so I can show you. Here you can adjust, you can change the temperature of your photos and documents, you can change the tint, brightness, bring the brightness down, contrast, up and down, highlights, shadows, whites, black, color, vibrancy. You can even do some color editing on very specific elements. You can see her shirt there, or her outfit is changing colors. You can do that, which is pretty cool. And you can change the brightness of specific elements. So it's going to pick up on different colors and you can do it that way. You can also add sharpness, clarity, and a vignette if you wanted to. Here you can see just like a pretty typical photo editing app. Another thing that I love about this adjust area is you can just choose if you want to do full image. You can just click a specific area that you want to edit, or you can do the foreground, which here would just be Sadie and her computer. You can see there, we can just edit Sadie and her computer, or you can choose the background and edit just the background. Now, we're just gonna go ahead and get off of that. We'll go ahead and delete that. That's just a quick overview of that edit. Now, another thing that you can do, I'll bring in that picture of Sadie again. We're gonna come over here to edit. Here's the Magic Studio that I was talking about, where you can do a background remover. You can do a background generator. This is going to be an AI feature where you can describe a background and AI will generate a new background for you. You can quickly remove the background so that it's just Sadie and nothing else. You can do magic erase, which you can choose certain elements to erase. Magic grab, meaning you can grab something off of the image. So let's go back here. Let's go to restore, show original image. Actually, let's just hit back and we'll put that background back on there. And I'm just gonna show you what Magic Grab does. So what Magic Grab is going to do is you are going to click what you want to grab. Here we're just clicking Sadie, not the computer. You can choose if you want the computer as well. So we'll do her and the computer. And we're gonna click grab. And now what it's going to do, and this is going to be great if you are grabbing it off of an image but you want to keep the background the same. This was taken on a white background, so it's not that important, but now I can grab Sadie off that background, but I still have that photo and that background intact, so I could move her over here to one side or move her to this side. That's what Magic Grab will do. So we'll go back over here to editor. Same thing with grab text. You can do the grab text where if there is a text on there, you can grab it. Magic edit and magic expand. Like I said, these are all AI tools that are pro features, so just keep that in mind. That may be something that you want to look into if these features really are something that's like, yes, I'm gonna use that. Moving on down here, we have filters where you can change the filter. You can add drop shadows to your images. Here you can see we've added a drop shadow to this image of Sadie. You can change the blur amount, move it back and forth. You can see here we have other effects that you can choose from, and then of course apps also live down here at the bottom. So let's just go ahead and get rid of those, and let's go back and show you some other options. Up here on the top, after you get from edit, is your crop feature. This is where you can crop certain designs. If you want specific size or elements out of it, you can crop, but just know you can come back here and uncrop, which I love. You can flip your image horizontally or vertically. You can change the color of specific images if you would like. Not all are gonna have that feature, but a lot of them are. Here is where you're going to have stroke style, or you can add a border. Next is going to be corner rounding. So you can see it just kind of rounds the corner of that element. That's gonna be really handy more so when you have, like if you're adding a square, for example. So let's just go ahead and add one. You can see here, let's select that and we can go to corner rounding and we can round those corners. So that's where that may come in handy for you. So let's just delete that. We'll come back up here and select this. Next is going to be transparency. This is opacity or transparency, same thing. You can do that. There you can change the transparency. Next up, you can animate your objects. Now, as a graphic designer, mainly, we don't do a lot of animation. This is going to be really great for those that are creating things such as presentations or video editing. That's going to be great for animate. Animate is going to be great for you. For me, I don't use it a ton, but you can animate different elements and full pages from this animate button. Next is going to be your position. Now, position is where you can move elements forward, backwards, in front of things, behind things. As of right now, these elements aren't really touching, but let's say I had a solid image, so let's go over here to elements and let's pull this in. And let's say for some reason, listen, I know this doesn't look good, but just hear me out so I can show you what I mean. Let's say we want to bring the opacity down a little bit and we just want this as a background, like a very blurred out background or something. We'll bring it back up so I can show you what position is. So you can bring it forward. You can see it comes in front of everything when you bring it forward, or you can take it backwards and it starts going behind all of these different elements. So you can do that by clicking. You can do it if you want it all the way to the back immediately. You can go to back, or you can come up here to this thing, to the layers section, and you can drag and drop and move it forward and backwards that way. Back to position, when you come over here to arrange, if you have specific things that you want to align, let's say this one and this one, you can select both of these by dragging and dropping. We can come over here to position, and you can see that I can align these elements to the top. I can align them to the left, middle, center them, bottom, or right, depending on how the elements work together. For this one, it didn't really work together to align them that way. I had to manually move them, but just know that is where you are going to find that option to align your elements. Now, let's quickly talk about text and all of the options that you have with text, just so you get a general idea. And I think I'm going to come down here to this one because this one is going to show some of these a lot better than others. So first up, you have your font. This is where you're going to choose your font. You can upload your own fonts if you do have a Canva Pro account. That is another big perk that I love about Canva Pro, is the fact that you can upload your own fonts. And you can see if a font is a pro font or a free font, because if it is a pro, it will have a crown on it. You can see here, this is what the little crown looks like. And let me scroll down and I will show you exactly what I mean. So you can see here, these are all Canva fonts. None of these are pro that we have gotten to yet. But coming on down, you can see that if it is a pro font, it's going to have a little crown out at the end of it. Next up is going to be your font size. This is going to be your text color, where you can change the color of your text. If a font is able to be bolded, that is going to be highlighted there. You can see you can bold, unbold, italicize, not italicize, underline, and strike out. This one is going to be one of my favorite features to use, where you can quickly change all of your letters to uppercase or lowercase. So you can do that with one click here, which that font is just an all uppercase font. Here is a good one to show you if you want to try it all uppercase. You can see that looks terrible all uppercase, so that does need to be a lowercase font, but you can quickly do that with one click. Here is your text alignment. You can align right, straight-sided alignment, left, or centered. Bullet points or numbers are found here. Line spacing and letter spacing is found here, and let me show you how that is. So here is a 2-line section. You can see if we go to spacing, I can change my letter spacing. I can make it further away, closer together. Sometimes changing your letter spacing will really elevate your design and make it look so much better. You can also play around with line spacing if you want to space your lines way apart or bring them closer together. That is going to be found there. We've already talked about opacity, but I want to talk about effects when it comes to fonts, because this is one that I think is a great use of effects. So with fonts, you can add effects like a drop shadow. You can change how far or how close that drop shadow is, the direction of the drop shadow, if it is blurred or if it is not, and the transparency, if it's a full color or a little bit lighter, the opacity is brought up, and you can change the color as well. You can add a lift to it. This is just going to be like kind of like a little shadow, like it brings it up off the page. Next is going to be a hollow. This is going to obviously work the best when it comes to thicker fonts. That hollow is going to be a great section to try it out. You can also do splice. That is where you can add an offset and have that hollowed out version. I've done a lot of things that this actually does look really good on. It's just going to depend on your design. Next is going to be outline. You can choose the thickness of your outline or not, and you can change the color here. Echo is going to be like a multiple drop shadow. It's going to be like 2 drop shadows, so you can decide how close or how far and the direction you want that echo to be, and the color as well. Next is going to be glitch. This is just like kind of like a 3D effect. It may hurt some of your all's eyes. There are only 2 options, which is the cyan and magenta and cyan and red for this one. And you can change the direction as well. Next is neon. You can change the intensity, make it super intense or not. And then background is the last one. You can also change the roundness of it and how much that background is quote unquote spread. Now we're gonna go back up here to none, because there's one more thing I wanna show you, and that is the curve feature. So you can curve your text, and you're gonna find that under the effects, and you can curve it as little or as much. You can curve it up, you can curve it down, or you can have no curve on it at all. And that is going to that's what you can do with your text effects. Now that you know where everything lives, you're ready to play around with it. You're ready to jump in and really start changing and designing. Now that we have talked about Canva and done a really good deep beginner's guide, let's talk about the pricing and the difference between the free version of Canva and Canva Pro, so that you can make the best educated decision for you and your life. Let's talk about the differences between Canva Free and Canva Pro. So the free version is a great version to start out with, especially if you don't know if you're going to use this software or not. I definitely suggest that you go in with the free version, play around with it, design some things, and then decide if you want to go pro, because you still get a lot of great features with Canva Free. You get the drag and drop editor, 2 million plus professionally designed templates, 1,000 plus design types as far as social posts, documents, presentation sheets, so much more, 4.5 million plus stock photos and graphics, AI creative partner for design. You can also bring multiple formats into one design, which is a somewhat new feature within Canva, but they did give that to Canva Free, which I love. Plus you get 5 gigabytes of cloud storage. Now, when it comes to Canva Pro, there are a few things that do stick out, and the first one for me is going to be the amount of photos, videos, and graphics that you have access to. You're going from 4.5 million plus in free version to 140 million plus in Pro. Honestly, just that alone is going to be worth the $15 a month that Canva Pro costs if you use it regularly. Another thing that I'm obsessed with is the background remover with one click. There is also what they like to call magic tools that are great to utilize with Canva Pro, meaning you can take an image, you can change the background using AI, you can grab text, so many different things that you can do that we will go into. That's one of my favorite things. Another thing that I love is the one-click resize when it comes to creating documents. If for some reason I have created a document in the wrong size, if you have Canva Pro, all you have to do is go up to the top to quickly resize, and you can resize that document in almost one click. You also get 1 terabyte of cloud storage, which is amazing, and unlimited access to premium templates. So we're also going to go into more detail about Canva Pro as we go through the features so that you can see exactly what you do get and what you don't get when it comes to Canva Pro. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna ask, should I go ahead and pay for a year or should I just do it month to month? My suggestion is start with Canva free. You're quickly gonna realize that Pro is worth the money, but then I would suggest you just go on a month-to-month basis at first to see how much you truly plan on using this software. If you're using it almost every day like I do, not just for work, but in my personal life, you can easily upgrade to the yearly version, and you are going to save about 16% if you pay for it all at one time. So that's just my suggestion. Now, I know this has been a lot of information for you to take in, especially if you are a beginner in Canva. And honestly, even if you're not a beginner in Canva, it has been a lot of information. But if you want to become a confident Canva designer, make sure you click that first link down below and check out Canva Confidence. I promise you, it's going to help you so much when it comes to learning where everything is housed, learning how to design in Canva, and how to really utilize everything that you have at your fingertips. If you have liked this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell notification so that you can be notified every time we get crafty. Also, if you're ready to do a little bit of a deeper dive into Canva, check out this video here.